Hi there, I'm Zara. Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here in the studio with me. Let's be real for a second. We have all been there, paying for expensive classes, yawning through hours of boring grammar homework, and yet, when it's actually time to speak, the words just freeze in your throat. It's incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Well, what if I told you that the secret to genuine, natural fluency has absolutely nothing to do with classrooms or textbooks? Today, we're exploring a totally different approach, drawn straight from Leo over at Simple English Talks. We're going to unpack this brilliant system that turns your everyday life into the ultimate learning space. All right, let's dive right in. Listen to this. Leo dropped this amazing bombshell. He says, I have never taken a formal English class in my life, and yet, here I am. Now think about what that really means. He speaks English comfortably, naturally, and his personality shines right through, all without a single teacher standing at a whiteboard. No homework, no scary final exams. It immediately makes you wonder, doesn't it? If he didn't sit in a classroom, how exactly did he pull this off? Well, to find out, we are going to explore his exact roadmap. First, we'll look at immersion through entertainment and repetition. Then, daily habits like speaking and scrolling. Third, courage, joining communities and making mistakes. And finally, reading and taking the leap. Starting with part 1, immersion. This is where we change how we consume media, turning it from a stressful study task into pure, relaxing entertainment. Pillar number 1 is so beautifully simple. Find content for your soul, not your English. Just think about that. When Leo started out, it wasn't about studying at all. He found music he actually loved. He watched movies that kept him glued to the screen until 2 in the morning. He was hooked on the stories, not the vocabulary. And the really cool part is that while he was just having a great time, his brain was quietly doing the heavy lifting in the background. It was soaking up the patterns, the rhythm, and the expressions. Literally 0 flashcards needed, just pure, enjoyable immersion. Which brings us to pillar number 2, getting totally obsessed with one specific show. It might sound a little funny, but it is actually a brilliant 4-step hack. First, you watch a show with subtitles in your native language, just to get the story. Step 2, switch over to English subtitles. Now you're connecting those sounds to the written words. Step 3, turn them off completely. You are flying solo. And finally, step 4, rewatch your absolute favorite scenes over and over again. This is the secret to driving the language straight into your long-term memory. So why does that 4-step process work so incredibly well? Well, the timeline goes a little something like this. The first time you hear a new expression, you just notice it, like, oh, that's a new phrase. The second time, you remember hearing it before. By the third time, you fully understand it in context. The fourth time, you start to really feel its rhythm. You feel it in your bones. And by that 5th time, you are out there confidently using it yourself. Repetition just naturally turns your listening into confident speaking. Moving right along to part 2, daily habits. We've talked about what to watch, so let's look at how to easily weave English into your everyday routine. For pillar 3, I absolutely love this habit from Leo. He would literally just talk to himself. He'd say things like, I am walking to the kitchen now. Maybe pasta. I always choose pasta. He narrated his own life out loud every single day, like he was the main character in a movie. In the shower, on walks, while cooking dinner. Why? Because speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth muscles actually need a physical workout forming those English sounds. You don't need to sit around waiting for a conversation partner. You are a perfectly good conversation partner for yourself. It might feel a little goofy for the first few days, but I promise it becomes completely natural very quickly. Pillar 4 is all about that device right in your pocket. Think about it. Most of us spend 2 to 4 hours a day just scrolling, searching, reading comments, watching shorts. What if you just went into your settings and changed your phone's default language to English? What if your social media feed started showing you English posts? Boom. Instantly, without adding a single extra minute of study time to your busy day, you've turned your daily scrolling into hours of effortless practice. It's a tiny little tweak with a massive impact. Okay, part 3, courage. Because let's be honest, stepping out into the real world to actually speak can be pretty intimidating. Pillar 5 totally flips how we think about practicing. Think about traditional studying, boring grammar workbooks, forced topics. It basically feels like a chore. But natural fluency, that is about leaning into your real passions. Music, gaming, photography. Leo joined online communities to talk about football and music. Was he terrified? Oh, for sure. His hands were shaking. He'd type out comments and delete them 3 times before finally hitting send. but his genuine desire to connect with people over something he loved was so much stronger than any grammar exercise. When you actually care about the topic, it stops feeling like study time and starts feeling like real communication. Which leads us to Pillar 6. This is definitely the hardest step, but it's the most important. You have got to embrace looking a little silly sometimes. When you step outside that traditional classroom, there is no safety net. No teacher to gently fix your grammar, and no classmates at your exact level. You are going to make real mistakes in front of real people. But here's the secret. Those real mistakes matter so much. You're going to use the wrong word. You're going to tell a joke that totally flops. But Leo discovered something wonderful, and you will too. People are generally incredibly kind. They love that you're making the effort to speak their language. And more importantly, those awkward little mistakes carry real emotion. Emotion is literally the superglue of learning. When you accidentally say the wrong thing, laugh at yourself, and finally get the right word, that rush of feeling locks the lesson into your brain way better than a textbook ever could. Finally, Part 4, reading and taking the leap. Let's smash through that final mental barrier holding you back. Pillar 7 is all about finding things you actually want to read. Toss out those dry workbooks. Read articles, blog posts, and song lyrics that you actually care about. This triggers something called interest-driven memory. When you read things you're hooked on, you naturally encounter vocabulary in its proper context. You absorb how sentences are built without ever having to memorize a single rule. And because genuine interest is the ultimate memory tool, the vocabulary goes in deep and stays there forever. If it bores you, you're going to forget it. But if it excites you, you will remember it. And Pillar 8? Oh, this is my absolute favorite. Readiness is a feeling that follows action, not a feeling that precedes it. So many of us wait around for the day we finally feel ready or good enough to start speaking. But as Leo learned, that magical day just doesn't show up on its own. You have to start speaking, writing, and engaging way before you feel ready. The good enough part? That only comes after you take the leap. You have to use the language to get good at it. So, let's wrap this all up. Fall in love with English content for your soul. Obsess over one show and rewatch it. Talk to yourself out loud every single day. Switch your phone to English right now. Join communities built around your passions. Bravely embrace looking a little silly and making mistakes. Read only what you genuinely want to read. And finally, start before you are ready. This entire lifestyle system, it requires absolutely zero money and zero teachers. It only requires your curiosity, your courage, and a bit of consistency. So, I'm leaving you with this one question to think about. What is the one step you're going to start this week? Are you going to change your phone's language today? Are you going to narrate your walk to the kitchen tonight? The beautiful truth here is that the classroom is everywhere. The classroom is your daily life, and you are already standing right in the middle of it. Pick one step and start before you're ready. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. You've totally got this, and I'll catch you next time.